Okay, guys, I've got to do a cold start here on this Ford. It's a 1960 model Ford 641 Workmaster. I had the Yanmar. It had a few problems. It still worked great. I sold it $400 and something, which was a really good price. The guy was happy with it. But like I say, it needs some work. Now, this is a disc that I had gotten when I got the Yanmar, and I'm redoing it. I've started painting on some of it. Here's the frame. I started doing a little painting. But this right here, this is a tractor boom pole. And man, it's great. I had a hard time moving just that without the disc on it. And there was no way to move it with them on it. But I've got this hooked up so I can lift it, and then I'll be able to spray paint. But you can't see it, but it's been raining. Like I say, it's 48 degrees right now. I said the wind's out of the north, but the wind's not blowing very much at all. But it's chilly, and we're going to see if we can fire up the Workmaster. This is a spray can paint job. The old fella did pretty good. The only problem the tractor's got is it needs a new tire, as you can see here. It holds air. It probably lasts me for years, as long as I don't run over some kind of stop or something out there. It's a really good tractor. And like I say, 1960, that's the same year model as I am. So it runs really good. Let's see if we can fire it up here. Got to turn the fuel off on this thing every time. If you don't, it floods out. And I think it's a common thing on these tractors, and you can tell when I first got it, I'd left it on a couple times, and that's where the bowl had filled and ran down in here, and I'm told that it could fill so much that it could actually run fuel off in there. So I shut it off every time now. Let me get out my key. If you don't have but one key, tie something onto it that you can see in case you drop this on the ground so you can find it. Let's see, get the key in there. It's got a push button start. Make sure we're in neutral. Let me set my coffee down. Get a hold of my choke. Choke knob's missing. That's one other thing that's wrong with it, but let's see what happens. Yeah, not bad. There we go. Now that will save a lot of backaches right there. And now I'll be able to paint under it, and I'll be able to hold it up and bolt on the disc when it comes time to put them back on. You can kind of see here on this one when I've started on it. I started painting it, the black. Just got one side painted. Boy, this paint is some good paint. I don't think I have any can of it out here because it's so cold, but oh, that paint's something. Now, $5 a can at Orscheln's. Now, Orscheln's is a little place we have up here. I think they're more in Missouri, and they've worked their way down out of North Missouri, out of South Missouri, down into northern Arkansas. But it's kind of like a Tractor Supply. But they sell this paint. I'll try to find a can of it, and I'll get a picture, throw it up on the screen. But it comes out thick. I mean, of course, there's only so much paint in a can, but it's the way it comes out. You've got to shake it a lot, and you make sure you turn it upside down and clear the nozzle, or it'll be stopped up when you get back. But it's some really good paint. I mean, it really is. But anyway, there's my new old tractor, and I'm tickled to death about the boom arm right there. Matter of fact, what was odd was I'd got on Facebook yard sales looking for one, and you can buy them brand new for like $160 or something, but they were just flimsy. I think maybe 500 pounds is the most you could put on those. And this one here was a used one the guy had, and for 75 bucks. And he was, I don't know, 20 miles north, maybe 15 miles north. But what was ironic is I knew the guy. I haven't seen him since 1996. He was the chief of police of Bay, Arkansas. Name's Kenneth. And last time I seen him, I think, was in 1996 at the police firing range. That's when I was a police officer for the Jonesboro Police Department. But it was nice to see him again. And matter of fact, my old lieutenant that I haven't seen in years, John, well, him and John are best friends and have been traveling in RVs. They've got some pretty nice fifth wheel RVs, and they've been traveling all over the country too. So it's pretty neat. I'm tickled about it, and I'm glad I got that from Kenneth, and I got a good deal. Now, anytime I need to pick something up like this, I had a few pieces sitting out here for sale. I've sold one. It was a three-bottom cultivator, and then this here is a two-bottom plow, but it's an unusual two-bottom, and it's all homemade. And my father had it with his stuff, and I can't use it on that tractor. I've tried it, and it won't. My tractor arms won't go down low enough, and I don't really have any use for it because apparently he welded it up so it'd be offset like this because he used it for his watermelon rows. So it's not a real measurement. That's something he had. That's what he had, and if I don't, then I may have to take it and redo it and do something else to it so I'll get a little bit lower on the ground. It'd be great to use as a bottom plow, but I'm just not sure about it. This I was going to sell, and I had several people wanting to buy it, and I kind of backed out. I've never put something on Facebook or Craigslist and changed my mind, but I did about this. 48 degrees outside. This is not a big seller right now, but this spring, there's no telling. And an inexpensive one up at Orscheln's up here, an inexpensive one that's a 4-foot is $15.99, and it's on sale. And this thing is a Kubota. Man, it works great. And I'm not sure that I would use it enough. I've used it maybe twice, since I've had it. And I thought maybe I'd get into maybe sell this, because it came with the Yanmar too, sell this and buy the equipment that I really do want. And because I'm not planning on doing any big garden spots like I did. This would be a moneymaker now, because I've already had neighbors, stop, and I went down and tilled their gardens for them with that Yanmar. And but you can make some money with one of those. I'd imagine anywhere from 15 to 20 cents a square foot, to till a garden up. Take longer to get your tractor off the trailer and till it probably than it would, and get back home than it would to till it. And I think a lot of people were thinking that if you buy one of these, you can make some side money on it. And matter of fact, that might be the best thing for me to do, in the future, is just pay somebody to till it, because you don't have to till it every year. It's just the main thing of getting it all loosened up and aerated. But anyway, guys, hope you can hear me good, because I've never used this head thing on my GoPro, but I thought maybe this might make it a little easier and I wouldn't have to handle a lot of stuff. But I've got a mess, gosh. And scraps, lots of scraps. When you're building a house, you're gonna have lots of scraps, but I have learned real quickly, do not throw them away, because you're gonna need a scrap for something. Now, I had a bunch of these, and I used almost all of them the other day in closing the gable on this back porch. Of course, I've still got some plywood. This is treated. Boy, this stuff's expensive stuff here left over. I'm so tickled that I got this building, because if you'll notice, I don't have any trees in the yard. So in the summertime, it is hot out here. So I was able to come under here, keep stuff dry, be able to get under this thing, put a big fan under here, and I could do a little bit of work this last summer. And but we still got more to do, more and more to do. I got to move all those posts over there. That's Bert's car. He left it behind. He needs to come and get it. I've called him several times. He'll get to it. It's got a head gasket. It runs fine and everything, but a head gasket messed up on it, and he's got to get a trailer. Since I don't have mine anymore, he's gonna have to figure out some way to get that home. But anyway, these posts, they're good posts. I got a deal on them, and I just So I bought them up, but I may have to take these and carry them back there. It'd be a good thing to carry them with. Is my boom. I could wrap about 5 of them up and carry them back there. Got to get me a propane tank. Oh, it's a mess, I'm telling you. Here's where I'd started digging for my propane tank. It has to set at least 10 feet, but I was going to put it probably back here somewhere. I didn't want nobody to see it, or try to hide it best I could. I was hoping to put it somewhere like right along in here, running this direction. I may put it here, because that way if I come off there, off the house with a fence for my back door, dogs in the backyard, I'll have the tank sitting here, and that way the guy could pull up with his truck, and they've got like a 200-foot hose or something that they can fill that thing with. Got to get that done. Of course, I've got the back porch enclosed. This is my laundry room. This is the wall with the church benches. This came from a church that was about 15 miles over here. Excuse me. And the church burned probably, oh gosh, maybe 15, 20 years ago, and everything was smoked up and all that, and the church just couldn't bring themselves to throw all those benches away, so they took them and put them in storage, and they paid storage on them for years. And they finally pulled them out, and I bought 18 church benches for $100. So I've still got a bunch down there. I've tore a bunch apart here. Burke tore a bunch apart. And they're tongue and groove. And if you'll notice, you see any knots? That's because this is old timber. There's no telling. That church was 70 years old. So these may have been the original benches in it, but I thought that was really a nice touch. Now, my house is not a rustic look, but I kind of like this. This is my back porch. There's my Caboose chair. I've got 2 of those. There's a neat story about those chairs. Everybody's seen them. They were real popular, I guess, in the 60s or something, you know. That's not originals, but those are good made ones. They really are. And it's called a Caboose chair because if you'll notice, or if you've ever seen before, they're in Westerns, especially in saloons. Well, when the West was won and trains and everything were running out there, well, them small, communities, them Wild West towns, they didn't maybe have a furniture maker. So when a train pulled into town, everybody knew the Caboose, the conductor, or in the Caboose, that he had a chair to sit in, or anybody that had a chair on the train had one of these. And they would sell their chair to the saloons, and they'd figure out something to sit on the way back, and when they got back to where they were going, they'd get another Caboose chair, probably from the railroad company. So that's how those spread around. If you find a handmade original of that, and they're expensive. I paid $10 for it, but I really like it. And of course, I had to move my saw outside, but I've got a good overhang, so unless the wind's blowing really, really hard, and I've not had that to happen yet. I mean, I've had the wind to blow hard, but I haven't had anything to get wet on that. So that way I can cut my stuff, and I don't have all the sawdust in the house, and I got it where it just shoots the sawdust out here on the ground. But anyway, I know it looks nasty, but can you imagine though? I mean, it was just, gosh, 3 years ago maybe, all we had was a truck and the camper, and now we've got all this. I got to paint, of course, and here's my water lines. I've got my water line coming into my house. I've got to figure out how I'm going to do this for the winter. Of course, I ain't going to tell them what it's going to cost me to underpin this whole house, but I'm going to come up with something. Maybe it's inexpensive, I hope. My sewer line is already pre-dug, goes into my sewer system. There's the line there that goes to my RV, so all I've got to do is just pull my dump, and it dumps right into the sewer line. And I've got it fed in down at the bottom down there on that. There's a T right down there. Pond's kind of dried up. I know it's dark out here, but it's a gloomy day. But it's quiet. There's my father's Farmall B out there. We're going to get it, pull it up here with my tractor as soon as we get some of this lumber out from under the carport, and we're going to start, that thing runs good. We're going to fire it back up, and I may even start painting it. I'm going to do a spray can paint on it too. And there's the little tractor shed that Bert and I started on. We never even put the post in they're in the ground, but we never set the post. The thing's all catty-waddle. Of course, it catches a lot of wind, but my intent is to put lid on that thing, a roof, and then that way I'll have a place to keep my tractors out of the weather or my equipment. See, my equipment's sitting down. That right there is my finish mower. I mean, that thing's got belts on it and everything. It's been outside, but it, you know, it's got covers and stuff over it, but it still ain't a good place. So I've got to get that thing, get it up here next, and then there's a couple pieces that I couldn't move by hand that I'm going to get out, and I'm going to repaint them and put them back together and get them the way I want them. I think I got 11, oh, now I got 10 pieces of equipment. I had 11 pieces, or 11 implements is what I had. Oh yeah, well anyway, it's beautiful, beautiful weather. Gosh, it was so hot, and I don't like the heat. I would not doubt that there's wind blowing this camera this whole time I was talking. Hopefully it wasn't, but anyway, let me get this down. That's a safety hazard. Thing was to fall. It's not supposed to, or it shouldn't, but that's good hydraulics. I mean, it won't be on the ground. If I left and went in there, it wouldn't be on the ground in the morning. It does move a little, but it wouldn't be on the ground. It might drop another foot and a half, but I'm going to drop it on down just in case. Matter of fact, I think I'll do this. I was going to do this earlier. I'm going to get this thing turned around here. Get that pushed over. There we go. We'll roll this down. Oh, it can just prop up on that, maybe, I hope. May not. Let's see what happens. Those are handy to have too. And I've got a thing that hooks on the back of the tractor, and I can hook that on. I might even use that to carry some in post when I go do that. We've used it for a lot of stuff. I've got so many pallets around here I bought for $2 a piece, but pallets are so handy. Well, that worked. Yeah, that'll work pretty good. Okay, good. Well, all right, guys. I hope you enjoyed the short video of my tractor and some more things that we've been doing. But yeah, that'd be great when we get this stuff cleaned up, because there's a lot of scraps here too. We need to get them all organized. And I'll pull in the 1947 Farmall B Cultivision is what it's called.